Yes, hello to everyone. I welcome you to this new daily news digest session. Today is the Republic Day of the country. The nation is celebrating its 76th Republic Day, 26th of January. And I have two articles, one from the Indore and the one from the Indian Express, which I wish to discuss. Let's start with the very first article from the Indian Express. It's a fabulously written article, basically on hunting fields of England to Parliament, the origins of the whip system. What exactly is this term whip and why is it important? Let's try and decipher this based on this article. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, his recent statement that party whips curtail an MP's freedom of expression by enforcing a party line has sparked a debate. Why should there be a whip? Whip means you are curtailing expression, curtailing freedom, and subjecting your representative to servility. You do not allow such a person to use his or her mind. This was said by Dhankar to a group of students. In popular perception, a party whip is sacrosanct, especially when it comes to being present in parliament when a matter important for the party is up for voting and casting their vote as per the party's wishes. There are consequences, including expulsion for defiance of a whip. This needs to be remembered by us. Where does the term whip come from? Originates from the hunting fields of England, where a whipper in was a member of the hunting party whose job was to bring straying hounds back into the pack. Its use in politics comes from Anglo-Irish politician and philosopher Edmund Burke. As per Courtney Ilbert's book Parliament, its history, constitution, and practice, Burke, during a speech in the House of Commons, is said to have talked about how the King's minister had made great efforts to get their followers together and had sent for their friends to the north and to Paris, whipping them in. Basically, to bring someone together in order to make sure that they abide by the directions. What is the history of the system in India? In India, the whip system is as old as its parliamentary history, as said by former Lok Sabha Secretary General PDT Achari. The system is important for parliamentary functioning as parties see voting on some matters as crucial to how their politics is perceived. Hence, MPs are expected to be present at the time of voting on matters critical to the party and follow the organization's line. Absence or voting against the party line can be a huge embarrassment for the party. For the ruling party or parties of the ruling coalition, full attendance and compliance during division, where each MP's vote on a motion is counted, on a crucial matter is also a marker of the real strength of the party or alliance and is seen as a symbolic of whether they are indeed in a majority. Failure to demonstrate majority in the lower house in such a context can lead to a no confidence motion. Given that the parties require their MPs to be present and vote as per the party line during division, the party chief whip in a house is required to inform all members about what the party leadership thinks of an important matter. The whip also has to ensure their attendance when the vote takes place. Essentially, the whip is the bridge between the party leadership and the MPs and also has a sense of which members ought to speak on different issues in the parliament. Apart from this, what are the various types of whips that we need to remember about? There are three kinds. First, a one-line whip, which just informs members about a vote, but permits them to abstain. A two-line whip, which asks them to be present, but does not tell them how to vote. And a three-line whip, largely, which is the norm these days, which directs members to be present and vote as per the party line. A three-line whip to a party member by a party chief whip carries the heading three-line whip. Under each sentence, there are three thick horizontal lines, largely the norm these days. This kind of whip directs members to be present and vote as per the party line. PDT Achari also said if member violates a three-line whip, which is the strictest of directions by a party, the leader of the party can recommend his or her disqualification to the presiding officer of the house. As per the anti-defection law, disqualification can happen for violation of a three-line whip. There were always members who thought that this curtailed their freedom, but even the Supreme Court has said that the whip system is necessary for the preservation of political parties. It needs to be there. And he also said that party system was at the root of Indian parliamentary democracy and the violation of a whip can have serious consequences in the context of the anti-defection law in force in 1985. The most important role of a whip is that chief whip of a political party. Then there is the additional whip apart from the chief whip. Then the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is the government's chief whip in the Lok Sabha and can request leaders of all parties of the ruling alliance to issue a three-line whip to their members to be present and vote in a certain manner. So these are the various categories or roles which are given to the whip. This needs to be remembered by you all from your prelims point of view. Why is this system important? Because in a legislative body, not only the fate of a particular measure under consideration, but the very life of the Council of Ministers itself may depend upon the result of a single division. And former Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan basically told that the whip system was important for the functioning of parliamentary democracy. Because if you are an independent MP, you are free and can choose how to vote on a matter. However, if you are elected on a party ticket, you have been elected because of a party vote. Being a member of the party also means that you agree with its ideology and policies. So discipline basically is necessary in this regard. And one can express disagreement with, say, a bill in internal party forum. Once the party has made a decision, one should either comply or leave the party. That's what it is. Given that the whip system is crucial for all political parties, an All India Whips Conference has been held since 1952, when the first Lok Sabha was constituted. The first such event was held in Indore in September 13th, 1952, and this was organized by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, which provided a forum to the whips of various political parties, that is, ruling as well as opposition, as a center as well as in the states to sit together and exchange their views. So this is something about the whip system. Now, I have a question prepared based on this whip, which I would want to discuss. Which of the following statements about the whip system in Indian parliamentary democracy is correct? The term whip originated from the Indian Parliament's procedural laws, rules. This is wrong. Violation of a three-line whip can result in disqualification under the anti-defection law. This is correct. A two-line whip mandates members to vote as per the party line. This is also a wrong statement. Independent MPs are also bound to follow the whip system issued by political parties. They are not. Fourth statement is wrong. Two is the correct answer in this case. Now let's move to an article from the Hindu. Further south, on the Iron Age and the south, archaeologists must look for more iron-specific sites in the south. Let's try and figure out as to what this is. The Iron Age in India has been a subject of fascination as well as discussion. In the rest of the world, the Iron Age succeeded the Copper or Bronze Age and was bridged, and it basically bridged the gap between the Bronze Age and the early historic period. But the situation in India is quite different. When the region north of the Vindhyas belonged to the pre-iron or Chalcolithic phase, but the south with over 3,000 sites was associated with iron or the megalithic age. Many archaeologists both place the Iron Age to be in the second millennium BC. Given this backdrop, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's recent statement that the origin of iron in the south could be traced to the first quarter of the fourth millennium BC is significant, as this pushes the antiquity of iron even further. After excavations in the mid-Ganga Valley of Uttar Pradesh about 25 years ago, early evidence of iron technology was dated to 1800 BC. But now the work in Sivagalai in Tamil Nadu, which was carried out between 2019 and 22, has made authorities attribute the introduction of iron in the country to the early part of the fourth millennium BC. This basically changes our perception about the Iron Age, because we generally associate the Iron Age with around 1000 to 1500 BC, even though the period of 2500 to 3000 BC is taken as a mid-range value. So this makes this study very important. Apart from this, what further needs to be understood is that Chief Minister Stalin also announced a $1 million prize scheme for deciphering the script of the Indus Valley civilization. When it comes to this, the strategies adopted by archaeologists who are working on the Iron Age site in India needs to be involving new thinking. They may have to look for more iron-specific sites than copper-cum-iron sites, which will save time, energy, and resources. Even though the Tamil Nadu government supports research projects on a wide range of themes in other states, this particular agency, TNSDA, has its constraints with regard to territorial jurisdiction. This underscores the need for complementing Tamil Nadu's efforts with those of other southern states. The Archaeological Survey of India should take the initiative of bringing the entire southern region under a common fold and enabling well-designed and coordinated work. After all, the idea is to share available resources and expertise in the country to arrive at more reliable findings. At a time when certain forces are increasingly using history and culture as a powerful instrument to pursue their political agenda, credible and concrete evidence on the antiquity of the country will naturally put to rest any claim based on baseless assumptions. So this is about this article. I hope this was a fruitful read. I'd like to end today's DND based on this note. Thank you so much. Have a good day.